Hello and welcome back to Mzansi. We're back again. It is that time of the night where we have to sing our national anthem of the day. Yeah, I know we are a bit late, but yeah, Bunjaloji, we have to work and make sure that we bring you a complete rather than what we think, like the Brigadier is thinking a lot in that court, and it's all about his logic of thinking.
And evidence that's
and his own
from
facts. I mean, we have to say it's his own facts. So yeah, we are here. Just press that like button. And again, thank you for yesterday's way of engaging. You guys are doing. In fact, you were on fire yesterday. Emily, I'm gonna allow you to take as much as you can. In that taking, I will hope that you do chow more in terms of what we need to deliver, and then maybe we will package our feedback as much as we can, because me just interjecting a lot can chow a lot of time. Maybe, let me allow you.
But you need to interject if there's something important that comes up. So
Yes.
guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us here again for another one of the deliberations that we usually do here over at Mzansi Reality. We are going to be unpacking the Senzo Meyiwa trial. And yesterday's proceedings were very interesting. Advocate Xumalo did a marvelous job, in my opinion. I have no complaints. I feel like there's nothing that he left out, in my opinion. Or maybe my mind might change as I get into the deliberation. But honestly, I have nothing to fault him with. It was excellent, surpassed.
Yes. Now, when we say things, people think we are crazy. We are cuckoo. What did I say about the DNA yesterday?
You said that the judge's hammering on it being inconclusive means that he's holding it on to it and might use it in the DNA. Today I heard Brigadier Ginda actually saying that the 4 regions are blazing accused number 4 at the Z.
I told you. I told you.
I'm sorry, I have to laugh.
I told
because
you.
This is another level of Dululu I have never witnessed from a whole brigadier.
It's not only from the whole brigadier.
It's coming from the judge.
It is intertwined with the judge's way of thinking. It's not far from the judge's way of thinking.
Now they have to
and
argue.
It was submitted, and the judge did not say, but we cannot do anything with that. Did not do anything. He kept it quiet. He was busy writing.
And they're taking advantage of the fact that the defense probably don't even have the funds to bring their own DNA expert to come and properly interpret.
There is no need for that. The man who came to give DNA, he did a very fair job.
Not even a fair job.
It was the
job.
proper,
it was honest, with
proper
integrity.
job. Yes.
It was a fine job. The judge just decided to confuse the record. That's exactly what happened.
The same way he did confuse the record when Buthelezi turned on the state.
Yes.
So now people are going to be coming. Do expect the judge
to include
when the defense is bringing their own witnesses to do what he's been doing with the people that seem to be against the narrative of the state. We have 2 so far, which is the DNA expert, who is now being told how to read
his own work.
And is told by the judge.
His own work.
Yes.
They
are interpreting it on behalf of the man. Well, guys, I've got a bit of a story before we start. Emil.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this. Today was not a good day. No, for me. So my kid decided to bash my TV. And so I'm TV-less. So I won't be able to watch Barcelona. Yeah. And this is the second one. This is the second bashing. But I'm continuing. I'm here with that heart being broken I'm still here.
With a broken heart. You are here to service our
I'm
family.
here to serve.
You are serving, even though you are not feeling good.
I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. 65-inch gone. Out of the window. And it's not the first time. This is the second one. And the second one, the first one was the same way.
What an expensive kid.
Yeah. So, but see, kids, I'm a bundle of joy. Yeah. As Kubegin. As ithathe Linda.
As kids, sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, today I kind of had to write it down because I was chasing against time. Today was a lot to unpack, eh?
Yes.
It was a lot. So let me start here. And the morning started with Advocate Xumalo resuming his cross-examination with Brigadier Ginda. Now, he started by asking him the question, is it correct that there were some investigations that were done in relation to the measurements? The measurements is talking about the height, the elbow, and the shoulder level of the accused 1 to 4. And Ginda said yes, but Colonel Mangena, what he knows is that he was the one who was supposed to do the measurements, but then what ended up happening is that they couldn't find something, a common understanding.
Well, they couldn't find a bullet that was going to pin the accused number 3 in the house. In a sense, that's my thinking. That's what they're saying. Because
the measurements that were appropriate to the measurements that were taken concerning the scene when it came to the accused. That's how it is, but how he put it, Nyamazu Brigadier Ginda, he said he was the one who requested that investigation, and he said he was not sure at first who initiated it, but there was a common understanding that the accused could perhaps be measured to see if they can bring them closer to the shooter. But that exercise was fruitless. Fruitless means that they didn't find what they were looking for. But Yena is still doing that holding on that he does. Well, Xumalo asked him, if you say that the exercise was fruitless, what do you mean? Do you mean that the accused person from whom measurements was conducted, they could not be placed at the crime scene? And Ginda said, no. I don't mean that. At the end of the day, he said to me that he was unable to definitely or with definition to say accused 1, for example, fits the profile of the shooter, or accused number 3 fits the profile of the shooter, or not. He explained that in terms of the hand moving up and down, but he is more equipped to explain. He said that all he's saying is that at the end of the measurements, he was unable to say to me, you can include or exclude any of the accused as the shooter. What the hell does that? That means there was no match.
Oh, it means inconclusive.
So inconclusive, your DNA by faga foot in the measurements is gonna be put everywhere.
Yes. That's what it means. You can exclude or
Judge
include.
Judge Fakazile, no, man, no. Abana manjele inconclusive yako manje, it's being put everywhere. It's being slaughtered even where there's no need. The measurements did not coincide with the measurements that were taken at the scene. They didn't quite fit the situation, the narrative, or the scene. There was no correlation.
Yes.
To the shooter, either being accused number 1 or being accused number 2 or accused number 3. So yeah, and then he also asked Xumalo, the same conclusion was reached in respect of his client, Mr. Maphisa, and Ginda said it was reached on all 4 of them, accused 1 to 4. And Xumalo said on the 20th of July 2020, Lieutenant Colonel Mangena proceeded to the Cleveland police station where he booked out the exhibit, which was the firearm which was booked in the SAP 13. Well, Ginda said yes, he's aware he did do that. And Xumalo said, did he tell you that he was going there on the 20th of July 2020? Ginda said he told him, and he asked him where he was on that day. Ginda said he didn't remember where he was on that day. But what he knows is that he was not with Mangena when he went to book out that firearm at the Cleveland police station. That's all he remembers. He doesn't remember where he was, but he remembers that he was not with Mangena. You know why this is a bit of a problem is because the SAP 13 person or the SAP 13 person who was the clerk at the time came to court and testified, and he said Mangena was with Brigadier Ginda on that day when they came to fetch the exhibit of the firearm.
Yeah, he said that, yes.
And he insisted that when he gave it to them, it was in an open seal bag. It wasn't a closed, my apologies, it was in a closed exhibit bag. And then Mangena comes to court, testifies, and he says he received it in an open seal bag. Mangena says he was there alone. He did not go with Brigadier Ginda. Brigadier Ginda also now testifies that he wasn't there. But that surgeon, I remember his testimony very well. It was so passionate. It was one of the best.
You remember like the judge remembers everything.
I remember that one because I was like, I have never heard a police officer being so fluent in explaining, in making us understand the procedure. He explained the procedure of booking those exhibits in the SAP 13 so well that I don't think I've forgotten that testimony. But what I do recall is that he did place Brigadier Ginda with Mangena coming to fetch that firearm together. So I don't know why.
And he has no reason to lie.
No, he has no reason to lie. Why would he lie? I mean, he's the very same one who told us that firearm, it was supposed to be destroyed. It was on the line. It was on the way to be carried to be destroyed permanently. However, just before it went and got placed there, Mangena and Brigadier Ginda, and they came to take it. They booked it out. Yebo.
But so, no, stop it.
Stop with that firearm. Stop. So Xumalo then said, do you know why he had to book it out? Ginda said that it was for examination because at that stage, accused number 3 had been identified. The Cleveland case had been identified and he had already thought of his request. And then he did the examination and comparing of the exhibits of the Cleveland case in relation to this case. And he says, I recall him in a report, an affidavit which he gave, saying that he's not finding sufficient marks.
Yes.
He needs the firearm, and that is how they ended up going to Cleveland to recover the firearm with the purpose of doing further examinations.
Where is Zuela now? He did not find any evidence that was linking accused number 3 with the Senzo Meyiwa's killing. But he went on to go and look for the gun itself so that he can
do some magic.
Allegedly. We are not going to say more. Need we say more? No. On a normal day, in a rainy day in South Africa, should that happen, that gun would have been left alone. But no, not this time around. People who had the right to believe that this is the gun that was used, they had to go fetch the gun. And guess what? The chain of that evidence was at some point put in the wrong hands. And we know that by the guy gave them, is it an open?
He said it was closed. They say they received it open.
Open, yes.
So somewhere in between there,
it got opened.
And
something was changed.
And Mangena, the ballistic analyst, who is an expert or regarded as an expert, received it. Not even received it, took it in that open form and took it to the lab and went ahead business as usual. Now, no consents whatsoever. No, he just took it. He took it to his lab. Didn't even register it in the registry of the ballistic forensic administration. No, he just took it directly to his office and continued going about testing it. And then Xumalo asked him, Mangena did not request you to go to the Cleveland to book out this firearm. He did what he was doing out of his own frolic. Well, Ginda said no, he was requested by him. He said he's the one who requested Mangena to go and fetch it. He said we spoke about it and there was an understanding that he will be the one who picked up the firearm. So Xumalo then asked him, is there anything that made you not go there to book it out and take it to the ballistic unit? Ginda said no, there was nothing. There was also nothing wrong with Colonel Mangena booking it out himself. Oh no.
Because he was avoiding the gun being used or being touched by many hands. Limiting many hands. You know,
and so that the chain of evidence is limited because
the chain of evidence is kept clean.
Yeah.
That's basically what he's saying.
Because at the time they didn't know what they were dealing with.
My Turan says you guys knew what you were dealing with, but you're telling us that you didn't know. In my own opinion, I think you knew what you were dealing with immediately when you took that gun out instead of using the bullets that were there as test bullets. My Turan, my 2 cents says you knew what you were doing because you used those bullets and they was inconclusive or there was insufficient.
Yes.
On a normal day, you stop.
And something tells me he wanted nothing to do with this part of things. He just let Mangena do. Because I kept thinking about it.
Why do you say he wanted nothing? The guy whom we mostly believe out of those police, 3 of them, Mangena, Ginda, and the guy who testified, he says he was there.
Yes.
I don't know when it started to change. In my opinion, I would like to believe the guy who was handing them the gun more than them.
Me too.
That they were together. I believe that more than the 2 of them. Now, I'm even more inclined to believe the guy that gave them the gun keeper. I believe that guy.
SAP-13 clerk from Cleveland Police Station.
I believe that guy because upon the cross-examination today, you would hear that Mangena, according to some of this testimony, he's not as clean as they come, according to what we're hearing there.
No, he's not.
Apparently, he took the cartridge or something like that.
Yes, he took a cartridge.
There is a statement given by the policeman to say that later on made Ginda be a gun expert. You'd hear that, and I'm more inclined to believe.
Like a gun a ballistic expert,
telling us that the cartridge cannot move towards the door when.
Yeah. So yes, with regards to his testimony regarding the whole firearm being booked out, Mr. Anonymous, what I wanted to say is that I'm not saying that he did not want anything to do with this. I'm thinking after maybe sitting down and thinking about it, the reason why he's extracting himself from being there at the SAP at the Cleveland police station and fetching the firearm with Mangena is because this sounds like it's something that it's troublesome and he doesn't want to be implicated in it. And funny enough, Mangena also agreed to extract him from it because by procedure, he's the one who was supposed to fetch that firearm and go deliver it at Mangena's office at the ballistic and register it properly, right? But he didn't do that. Instead, Mangena is the one who's leaving his workspace as a ballistic analyst, going to police stations and fetching exhibit all on his own. That is not that is not usually how they do things in the SAPS. And we heard even some of the witnesses coming and testifying, they were found wondering when they were asking if it's procedural what Mangena did. You understand? They couldn't quite.
It was said to be a special case. Everything about this case has been special since Ginda took off.
But in simple, plain layman's language, it was not supposed to happen. It was wrong.
Yes.
So Cleveland testified that Mangena was not alone. He was with Brigadier Ginda, and he gave them an exhibit in a closed seal bag, while Mangena said that they received it in an open seal bag. So in between there, why did the seal bag have to be opened?
That's a good question. Perhaps that's why people are distancing themselves from this situation.
Because if the SAP 13 clerk of the Cleveland police station insists that it was closed when he gave it to them, he never stores firearms that are open. He was very thorough in explaining that part because he understands the danger element of it. It could get him into a lot of trouble. It could get him fired. That's his job, to make sure that the exhibits are safe, and he was very passionate in explaining how he does his job. And now he's expected to compromise himself by saying that he gave it away in an open seal bag. He refused to do it. He came and he testified his version. And his version is that he never gives it away in open seal bags. Now the question becomes, why did that open seal bag have to be opened before Mangena receives it?
So there are many theories, but my theory is that they could have been playing around with that gun. Now, remember when I said you can change the barrel?
You can.
Somewhere, somehow, someone did something to that gun and then got to test. And then after testing, maybe everything was restored back. Yes. That is why the defense's, defense's ballistic expert is going to come and contradict the situation because it's probably using the correct barrel now.
Yes, from the actual Cleveland case.
So somewhere, somehow, something was changed there. We can live with that, in my opinion. We can live with that explanation.
Then Xumalo asked him, the ballistic section of the Forensic Science Laboratory, did anyone know on the 20th of July 2020 that firearm was there? Okay. And then Ginda said he didn't know. If you say anyone, Colonel Mangena, who works at the ballistic section, is the one that knew that he was taking that firearm there. He didn't want to speak on the other or Mangena's colleagues as to whether they were frazzled or anything, or it was just business as usual. He didn't want to comment on that. So Ginda said that he is Mangena is in a better place to be the one explaining that, or someone from the ballistic section. They would be the one to best explain all of that. So Xumalo then asked him, did he tell you that he had completed his investigation on this firearm? Well, Ginda said yes, when he was able to link it, definitely. And he did tell me that he was able to link it. He had concluded his investigation and that he'd be taking the exhibit back to Cleveland. So he thinks that it was the 27th of July 2020. Then he said that he could meet him there to accept this firearm after the processing had been done. Okay. Then Xumalo asked him, did he tell you when he had finalized this investigation? And Ginda said yes, he did tell him. Indeed, he met him on that day. So Xumalo asked him, did he tell you the date when he had finalized his investigation? And Ginda said, no, the communication is, I am done. Okay. Sequence of events. First, there is a request by him to Colonel Mangena to say, now we have identified accused 3 under this case number. Please compare these exhibits with our matter. He went on to repeat what had happened, which is something he had said prior. But then he said that he did not say to him that when he was done, that he would report and say, I'm done, I've completed this thing, and it took me an hour or 2 hours, or I was done to 1 hour or 2 hours ago. That is how the communication was said. He said that I've completed my investigation and there's a positive match, and there's an issue of me getting the ballistic report. And then in that discussion, he said, I'll be taking that firearm to Cleveland. And that is when I said to him, I will meet him at Cleveland police station.
You always meet people somewhere.
Yeah. He did go to Cleveland police station.
So
why is he denying that he was there? The first thing at the beginning of the questions, did you go to Cleveland police station? He said no. Now he's saying that they actually made the arrangements to go meet at the Cleveland police station. Which one is it? I believe the SAP 13 clerks version.
Obvious, no one would doubt that guy. He didn't blink, he didn't stutter,
You were definitely there, Brigadier Ginda. You were there. I don't understand this whole ducking and diving. It's almost as if he wants nothing to do
you know
with
what?
open
He's
bag.
always trying to make a middle a point of neutrality, as if, yeah, I'm telling the truth, because yeah, maybe the guy saw me because I was there. Just that. You know, I was there, but not initially, but I was there.
Then Xumalo asked him, there is a statement that was handed in, Exhibit A6, the statement of Sefularo, A.B. Sefularo Mutwedi. Okay, and they asked him if it's correct that Brigadier Ginda told this court that he was in charge of this investigation since 2018. Ginda said yes, he started on the 12th of November 2018. So Xumalo read that statement and it read like this, you guys. Open quote, it says, I am a warrant officer stationed at Provincial Investigation Unit. So before he could continue, he asked Ginda if he knew this warrant officer. Ginda said no. He thinks that on the statement you can see that it was made way before my time. But I do know that there was a consultation with this warrant officer with the state. But he said that he doesn't know him. It was the first investigation team. So why was he not interested in interviewing this man? Very strange how he does his investigation. But then Xumalo read it and it said that on 2014, October 27th, at about 9, I visited a crime scene at 13511 Vosloorus. The incident of the shooting happened on 2014, October the 26th. He said, when I arrived at the scene, there was a ballistic expert, Captain Mangena, and a photographer, Warrant Officer Mhlahlo, who took photos. Captain Mangena took exhibit of the span cartridge that was found on the door frame. No one tampered with the scene while I was there. Photos and exhibits were taken in my presence. That is all I wish to state. Signed by the independent commissioner by Sibonelo Mkhize at Water Avenue, Vosloorus. Ginda reiterated that he doesn't know this person and he has never worked with him, but he is aware of this statement.
Anything that is saying something contrary to what the state is saying is an enemy. That's what I've realized. Makubo is an enemy, in my opinion, from those people who are really working with the states. Mabuthelezi is an enemy. Yes. So as this one who's saying is an enemy.
Mutwedi is a very
the other Buthelezi who came to testify about Ntanzi's meeting is an enemy. In fact, he's not an enemy per se, but he was threatened because he's saying something. Yes. Everyone who's coming is an enemy who's saying otherwise, and they are made to look like they are Tirulu or they are crazy or they are incompetent.
Listening to a whole Tirulu investigating officer, lead investigating officer. So Xumalo then asked him, when you were doing this analysis of his investigations, were you aware of the statement? Ginda said that he went through it and there was no basis of what is contained in the affidavit. He said there was no basis. How would you know that there was any basis if you've never even had a conversation with this person? You didn't interview him. You just looked at his statement and said, no basis here. And
he bases he say like one there are many things that are wrong about this man.
Yes.
This man, in my opinion, Ginda, was not there to find the truth, in my opinion.
He's not giving.
He accepted that the shooting happened and it was towards the door. And the bullet did perforate the body of Senzo and it hit the door. That's number one. That's the theory that he accepts.
Yes.
He does not investigate. You know, he does not investigate whether the bullet that that hit the floor wasn't the bullet that killed Senzo. He could have been down. He could have been shot when he was down. He could have, he does not investigate because there's no blood spitting, splash on the door, so as on the floor. And we learn to know that the floor at some point was cleaned, right? So he never investigated this thing. In a sense, he's saying, I believe everything that is here, or I believe what is here, except if you are against my theory.
Which is wild.
The fact that there was a cartridge there, and allegedly someone took it. I'm saying allegedly, but this is a person again who put that statement. He's putting that statement. He has no reason. He was there.
He saw him.
He's calling him Mangena. He's not saying I saw a police. He said I saw Mangena take a cartridge.
And you can also remember Mhlahlo and how aggressive she was. And she's the person who discovered the bullet on top of the kitchen counter behind glass jars. And that person was combined
with Mangena.
With Mangena.
The person was very aggressive in answering his...
Yes, she was very, very hardcore. Like, she had that attitude of...
Stinking attitude. Yes.
No, it was very interesting. Now you find that this witness, Mutuedi, puts them together in the same work environment.
And he's not only he's saying there was a cartridge that was taken. Which, in my opinion, I have a theory.
Okay.
I believe that there was a gun that had a wheel, a revolver. I believe that 100%. I'm not disagreeing with that. Now, one person might ask, why was there a cartridge? I would say if the cartridge was there, then that means that scene was already contaminated. Someone decided to shoot after
the
incident. And that would be someone who's redesigning the whole scene. In my opinion, I do believe it was a revolver that took Senzo's life. In my opinion, I do believe that theory, that the intruder, the so-called intruder, if there was an intruder, if the person qualifies to be called an intruder, he had a revolver. I do believe in, and the clumsiness of how Senzo was shot, you can tell it's not a gun that is controlled easily. Once it's a gun that is probably, I'm not an investigating officer, but I think there is something to that. But the cartridge part, in my opinion, why it had to disappear, because it was going to point to the gun that shot.
Yes. Because remember, in their IB system, the ballistic science system, they work with cartridges when it comes with pistols.
They work with bullets too. Do not take that thing of they work with cartridges. They work with cartridges and bullets too. There's no such thing as they work with cartridges. That thing is happening in that court. It's the same as they work with both. They put those things both. I mean,
so that cartridge was gonna disturb
the whole scene. Yes, it was.
Now. Couldn't they have found another ballistic person to do the test? since there was a new investigation team?
What
Mangena?
what ballistic expect to do the test, because the damage was already done, in my opinion. So someone comes and create the new scenario. Let us shoot the door. You know that theory of shooting the door. I don't think the door was shot when Senzo was being shot. You know, it could have been something that happened after.
You know how that fake or that alleged recording of Mapiri, how she was saying, I don't understand why people said I'm the one who cleaned. When I got there, it was already clean. Now it got me thinking, especially with this whole theory that you're now putting, that there could have been someone else who used a pistol and shot at the door. Just to take away from the fact that a revolver.
And that shooting created the scenario of what? Of a cartridge. And that cartridge had to disappear.
So it seemed allegedly.
And then the following day, Mangena, who's this woman who got the bullet? Mhlahlo gets the bullet.
On top of a kitchen counter.
What are the odds?
That Bom Tetwa did not see.
What are the odds that this is the same bullet? What were the odds?
Well, Xumalo then asked him, what do you mean if you say that there was no basis? Ginda said, firstly, because it was refuted by Colonel Mangena when I consulted with him. You consulted with Mangena. You did not question him or interview him. You consulted with him. That already is a red flag on its own. And he didn't even take a statement as he was speaking to Mangena. Is that fine? Is that okay? So now we are getting a picture perhaps that Mangena was not even maybe influenced by Ginda, like I had previously alleged, and try to paint a picture of the kind of pressure he could have been. This seems like Mangena was the one on his own. Like,
you know what?
He had a lot to lose, allegedly.
I am going to say this. I'm going to break it down for you.
Break it down.
I think this case could have been solved a long time ago if it wasn't for maybe the alleged hands that touched and left. You know, I think that people who could have messed up this situation are not even part of the investigation team. You know, I do think so. But I also think that they are powerful to influence anyone. You know, that's my thinking. It is just my thinking. And I'm alleging, obvious. So what you see here could have been something that was cooked long time ago, and then along the way, when they saw, okay, it's quiet now, and then came this party that played a part in resuscitating the case, asking questions, knowing the importance of color in South Africa. It's not something that they could have taken. You know, they're like, no, let us bring it back. But the problem now, we need someone who's gonna be able to, you know, and that's my theory. You know, and then that's how people got in, because you know, when you are doing such things, you feel like, yeah, I'm the one, I'm important, and then now certain people have left their position. You are left alone. Yeah. Now you have to protect you, because no one is gonna protect you. Initially, maybe you were protected. Now you have to protect yourself. You know.
Yeah, and it feels that way.
And then yeah.
He's protecting
so
himself.
you would do anything.
Allegedly.
You would do anything. All. So it did not start now, this thing. This case could have been solved long time ago, in my opinion. You hear how people are talking, how people are contradicting themselves. You can hear with this case actually was a simple case, simple, straightforward case that turned into this now that we are seeing, this Nyovas Dam that we cannot even fathom. That's how it is.
Well, Ginda continued to say that secondly, and I'm saying that this is based on the general knowledge that I have. When you discharge a firearm, the bullet goes in front to the direction you are pointing the firearm. The projectile will either kick or go out on the left or on the right-hand side of the barrel. I mean, of the firearm. He said barrel and then he said firearm. Now, how do you find a cartridge in the same position to which the bullet is going to? It's impossible. It's not practical. I mean, if you watch these things
I would have
on
liked
TV,
Ramsey Pile to ask these questions, more so this one, because it begs two questions for me that I would have asked, is to say, okay, you are saying that. Now, since you have become this expert, you are talking on a normal day when you are shooting a gun and there is no scuffle, right?
Yes.
So what happens if there's a scuffle and you shoot and you find that someone's hand was actually closer to the ejector of a bullet, of a cartridge, and then it pushes the cartridge to a certain direction? In fact, you know what is fun about this? They are explaining a bullet movement as if they are explaining a cartridge. In fact, it's a cartridge that would move the way that Mangena was explaining a bullet. Move as if it's gonna fall. In my opinion, that's how the cartridge moves. It moves.
Yes, it's very uncontrollable.
Yes,
can fall anywhere. Haibo.
That's
when you are saying that Mangena, the way he was describing that bullet he was testing, it sounded like he was talking about the cartridge. He was talking about the movement.
Unstable bullet. That's something like that. Like he was explaining a cartridge that was unstable. So it just surprises me how he explains it to exonerate himself, and it's okay. But there was a scuffle. So tell us then, in an incident where there was a scuffle,
yes,
what would happen? Wouldn't it move forward if it was disturbed when it is moving, maybe left or right, and then someone just touch it with the body or the hand just touches it? Wouldn't it change the direction? You are right into asking that question because he has turned himself into a ballistic expert.
Yeah, he has. He's now
to fit his narrative, yes.
Of a cartridge.
To fit his narrative. Then you should ask incidents where there is a scuffle, where people are fighting. Kuno Zandi ngakwa left, kuno ban. Wouldn't it hit Zandi and go forward? Would you still disagree? The kitchen is too small.
It's too small indeed. And it has me also thinking.
So it going forward, I just finished this. Yeah. It going forward, it can even hit the wall and go forward because the kitchen was too small.
Yes.
The walls are just closer. The cupboards and everything are just closer. It can hit something and just go forward. So according to you, it's wrong. We are talking about the situation where you are shooting a gun and you are outside, it's an open space, there's nothing that's going to disturb the bullet. Then a cartridge moves to wherever it's supposed to move. Now we are talking about the place that is confined. It's very small.
Yes.
You can barely move. Two of you can barely cross each other there. You shoot. What would the cartridge do? Where is it supposed to go to gain the to actually have the momentum and stop? Where is it supposed to go? Isn't it going to hit a cupboard and move forward?
It is. Or it may take
or it might hit a person, considering that there was apparently a lot of people in that kitchen.
Someone shot themselves in the foot. Kwazban, allegedly. But then I'm thinking, what if the door was not the target? What if the door was not the target? Because I'm thinking a lot of things now. What if the door is not the target with the use of the pistol? Because now, Mr. Anonymous, your theory of there could have been someone who came in after trying to take away the revolver, randomly shooting. And it sounds like this person, in my opinion, may have known exactly what they are doing, in a sense that they knew how to use and how to create whatever confusion that now we are seeing. You understand what I'm saying?
If I remember very well, this case initially, it was taking sort of a direction of saying that maybe a person shot from outside to inside.
Yes.
So the shooting of a door was, in a sense, going to cover that theory. That's my thinking. But then the problem is that then there will be pictures, and then when you shoot and you are inside, the way in which the bullet perforates the door, it would show that the shooter was inside. Because most of the things would go outside.
Yes.
So that was the problem. But there are many things that have been done to this case. That's what I'm trying to say.
It's a mess.
In my own opinion, now what we are seeing are the cracks, and they're not just the cracks of this current cooking. Perhaps if there was a cooking, there were cookings before this that did not work. There were cookings before this, in my opinion, that they were abandoned. You know, and then that's it. And then eventually we get this pot, but there are other pots that perhaps maybe I'm not saying there was cooking, but I'm saying allegedly, as people are allegedly, maybe there was cooking before this. 2 or 3 pots that did not work. Mandisa was probably part of that, in a sense that they would cook, and Mandisa would become this mastermind. And I don't know where it turned, because indeed when I had the mastermind theory and how it was being explained, it was like an angry fiance,
yes,
you know,
who was angry that their husband is having,
and then maybe people started talking. When Zandi started talking and everyone started talking, and then it killed the momentum where they were supposed to go there. Like, and now people are gonna see that let's change the cooking. Let's put beans now. Allegedly.
Well, he continued to say, Brigadier Ginda, that it's impossible, it's not practical. I mean, even if you watch these things on the TV, you'll see that the firearm will discharge cartridges either on the left or the right side, depending on the firearm. Then the projectile itself, the one that is not discharged, that is hitting the target, will go to where the firearm is pointed. And then you are likely to find the projectile where it was aimed if it doesn't go through. I've never seen in my investigation experience where you find the projectile as well as the cartridge in the same direction. You will find the projectile in the body, for example, if it was intended to hit the deceased, and cartridges will always be picked up by the crime scene managers and take photos on the crime scene, on the floor, and on the place where the projectile or the bullet was aimed. He said, I've never seen that. I've seen that crime scene photos. Even in this case, you look at the crime scene, you look at the projectile found on the top of the kitchen cabinet, the damaged one.
Better yet, there was not one shooting. You know, you see how he's thinking. His way of thinking is just limited, in my opinion. There was a shooting that a bullet went down on the floor. What if that cartridge was for that? Because if you are shooting down and you are facing the door,
yes,
then the ejector faces the door.
Yes.
So you shoot, then that and we are closer to the door, it comes with power. So that's why it got stuck to that door. Maybe that was for the one that was shot down.
Yep.
So what do you say about that? But he's explaining one dimension.
Yes.
The shooting that could have happened, that one that perforated baby Senzo's body and the door, as they are alleging. That's what he's explaining.
Well, he was saying that it was in the shoot, it hits the target, be it on the door, whatever, and then the cartridge, because the cartridge is the back part of the bullet also going to the same direction. He said he's never seen that.
Maybe you're right. You've never seen that. Maybe that was not the bullet that gave that cartridge. Maybe it was the one that went to the floor.
Maybe that's the one that shot at the floor. The direction was aimed at the floor, and then maybe. Then Xumalo said, "Did you interview him at any stage?" Ginda said that he was interviewed during the consultation with
and
the
that answer, it left a lot to be desired. It was an answer that was not sure, in my opinion. If you ask the guy, perhaps you'd get a different answer.
Then Xumalo asked him, "Did you, as the investigating officer, interview this person?" Ginda said, "But for what purpose?" He now became very defensive. I'm like, Haibo. He said, "I don't understand the purpose of interviewing him. There is an affidavit to depose it. It's in the statement. You follow the investigation, and the ballistic expert, someone who's qualified, refuse it." It's because his name is mentioned, then there's a consultation. Then I'm not sure what would have been the purpose of me interviewing him, because it is clear what he is saying is contained in the statement. Then there was a consultation with him subsequent to that. Xumalo then told him to get clarity on the contents of the statement. I mean, an additional statement from him, like how he did with Bo Dumelo Madlala, and everyone changed their minds about seeing a revolver, and now all of a sudden they're not specialists of firearms. I don't know, but there were statements that were So why in this case couldn't he have gone to this person and asked for a version? Their version, if it still remains, he said, "I'm not changing my statement," then get it on record that yes, they did not change their statement. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So then Ginda said, "No, that's what I said. The purpose of investigation is not to create your own evidence. The statement speaks for itself. However, Botumelo have new statements." You understand what I'm saying? So it's very contradictory, this whole thing.
It is not
how
consistent with what has been happening with the witnesses.
No.
That now and then are adding, giving new statements and contradicting what he had initially said when you were not an investigator. So there is a bit of, not even a bit, it's a lot. Ultra, thank you very much for your gift. May God bless you. And then Zandile K, a new member, thank you. We appreciate you. And you can also join the membership, guys. You can also assist by liking, as now we are on 457. Only 213 likes. Let us push the likes, please.
Press the like button.
And then you can also subscribe if you're not subscribed. You can also subscribe if you feel that you're not able maybe to communicate on the comments because you're not subscribed. Just do so that you can join us as we do what we do. Please. That's basically it.
He said the statement speaks for itself. It is not for me to change it, because on what basis do I say now he must change what he alleges that he saw? I'm not an expert. I was not there. I'm simply indicating the supporting evidence that I could have found. If there was supporting evidence based on my experience, investigation, and expertise of the ballistic expert, of course, then I would have supported him. But I found no basis because it didn't make logical sense. But it's not for me now to change what he said, because that would be the distortion of the truth. Ginda said that he does not recall when the consultation between the person and the state occurred. Xumalo then went to the request for IBIS comparison addressed to Captain Makula of the Forensic Lab, SAPS PTA Pretoria from Major Bayat on the 23rd of February 2015, and he said that it was under the Cleveland case. Xumalo read the contents, and it said, "I hereby or hereby application for IBIS comparison of the firearm recovered as per Cleveland case 96-2 of 2015 and with the following cases: Takane case 205 of 2014, Foslera's case 63610 of 2014, which is the current case that is on trial, Foslera's case 1769 of 2014, Foslera's case 65 of 11-2013, Foslera's case 103 of 12-2014, Actonville case 102 of 2 of 2014, Actonville case 108 2 of 2014, Takani case 518 of 3 2014, Foslera's case 129 5 of 2014, Foslera's case 129 5 of 2014, Foslera's case 331 of 3 2012. To kindly analyze the request, had to identify all the incidents that were where all the firearms mentioned above were used. Kindly forward the information to Detective Constable Dlamini of Provincial Investigation Unit.
And he's being attacked, that Lamini. He's being attacked. Why would he do that? Do his job. The man is doing his job. The man is doing his job. The man is saying, run these bullets or run these cartridges against all the cases that we have had. See if it will not pop out for accused number 3 to answer for. And what Dlamini gets is that it does not include case 636. Well, that is a problem with Guinea, because why would you do that? Why would you run if you are not an investigator? So only him is allowed to actually touch the Nongoma case, touch all others while he's not an investigator in that case.
Yes.
Because he's in a cold unit. It's very cold there. He touches everything. Basically, he's a president.
Yeah, he is.
He touches everything. No one can tell him.
Lindeni
Hadebe, thank you very much for your
SAPS.
gift. We appreciate you. May God bless you.
Thank you so much. So Xumalo then asked him, is there any report that was received in respect of that request, because it also involves the case that you were dealing with in this court in which you are the lead investigator? Ginda said that there's no report, and when he inherited the docket insofar as the outcome of this request, Constable Dlamini was not the investigating officer who was assigned to look into this matter before court. There were different investigators, but he was never part of this investigation team. The docket indicates that they were not aware that this firearm may have been involved. They did not make a request. Even accused 3 was not in sight. Even this request is attached to the Cleveland case of 2015. So Xumalo asked him, did you consult with the members handling the Cleveland case to find if there was such a report or not? Ginda said no, there isn't. Ginda said he consulted with Constable Dlamini and Masondo, and on top of that, he has the original docket. There's no outcome report, even if the docket itself insofar as what they requested with regard to 636. He said he also consulted the ballistics. They gave him technical explanations as to how their system works, and he said there was none. He said Kenal Mangena is more equipped as to what difficulties they had, hence he wanted the firearm.
Yeah.
And he said that there's no report now that was found in the docket, and there's no outcome of the analysis that was done. So Xumalo now went to one officer, Steenkamp's statement, and when Ginda was asked about the 6th witness, Piwe, Ginda said he does not think he assisted with any form of drawing the identikit, and he also said that he does not know how they met Steenkamp. It was before his time. Ginda described the motor vehicle that was used as a getaway car as a VW Polo. He said that there was no registration number given. The closest thing that one could work on, there's an indication
You
on
must know
Sfiso-
something is coming there.
Sfiso Gwabeni Zungu's statement that it could have been a hired car.
Yabona uGwabeni, and I will say this again, I'm praying. No, my prayer is that avumbuke after this disappearance at the right time when the defense need him. Because if Gwabin can come and say, I did not write no statement.
This case is finished.
This case is done. This case is finished. And it doesn't even need to sit on a stand for long. Just a one day. Avile nje afika denounce maqeda azihambele. Because I can tell you, it's not safe, obviously, outside here.
It's not safe.
In
That's
my
what
opinion.
I'm worried about.
So I hear people thinking that he's probably enjoying wherever he is. In my opinion, I think he's probably on the hide.
He's in hiding.
That's what I'm thinking. So, as I'm saying, at the right time, if he was to just come, just once, it defends it tolendlela yokumprotect nje. Afike nje. I show one thing.
But one thing, since all of this is so public like this right now, should anything happen to him, that would be a very brave, bold move.
Because you know why I'm saying Gwabin is probably hiding where he is.
Why?
He would have been called. He's a strong witness.
Yes.
You know?
He definitely would have been called.
He would have been called.
I don't think even Zungu would have been called. I don't think there would have been a need for Zungu.
Yes, he would have been called. But Zungu, he probably did not agree to go on the stand.
Now the question is, did he even write that statement?
That's a good question. That goes to Absalom Zungu also.
So he said that the closest hiring company that they could get, which placed accused number 5 in the hiring of vehicles, not in the date of the incident, but he was hiring cars from a certain company, and at some stage he was given fines hiring a VW Polo. Ginda said that what they could not find is the date of the incident in the records as to whether the company record says because the company became liquidated. Was there not an aspersion somewhere? I think it's the charge sheet or something that what they were saying that accused number 5 owned a VW Polo. Now it's changing from it being his VW Polo. I think it was white or gray or something.
Yes.
Now it was hired by a company that has been liquidated.
Yes.
I go busy.
But in Ivis.
Yes, something like that.
But Ivis is not liquidated. It's still, I think I've seen cars from Ivis.
Well, they're saying it's liquidated. Okay, so asked the company where they collected the investigation, Ginda said that it was in the report of Mr. Matlo of RETC. So there I saw Advocate Xumalo laughing in disbelief, and I think I also spotted accused number 4 and number 5 laughing there in the background. When accused number 5, you were hiring cars.
Yeah, Ivis is still available.
Is it?
Avis. Still available.
I don't know which one they were talking about. Maybe it's a different one. Kwaziban.
Everything is possible.
It's liquidated. So I'm like, a whole Nkabi, Mr. Anonymous, going around hiring cars in his name and stuff. He's hiring cars. A whole professional alleged Nkabi. One thing I will say, in my opinion, this to me sounded like a speculation.
Yeah.
And I know because I speculate a lot with this case. And Brigadier Ginda has mastered this art of casting speculations as facts.
Yeah.
He's really good at it.
His opinion becomes a fact.
Yeah. So Xumalo then said, when was it hired? And Ginda said he doesn't recall the date. He doesn't know from the top of his head, but it was not on the date of this incident. It was further up. And Xumalo asked for an adjournment for Brigadier Ginda to look for that statement. And after that short adjournment, Xumalo asked, does it state when the vehicle was hired? And Ginda said yes. The director said the records for 2014 October, she could not find them because the company is liquidated.
And when the company is liquidated, everything disappears.
It looks like the police can't find it.
Hey, my God.
So this is what this is that witness that is now working in the K9 department of the SAPS who moved from this so-called company, right? So I'm asking myself, when he says the director, does it mean that that lady was the director of the company? Because Brigadier Ginda is now calling her a director of the company, of the trekking and the hiring, not trekking, the hiring cars company. So was she a director of that company? Something that I was curious about, because I'm like, now we are mentioning directors. She never said she was a director. She presented herself as an employee.
People are even saying that even the hiring of that car was not even in that year.
It wasn't in that year. It wasn't in 2014. Ginda said that she said she will get back to them. She's searching for those records regarding 2014. So Ginda confirmed that he does not have the car hire records for the year 2014. The infringement, that is the one coming from the traffic officer who testified, is from 2016, not 2014. It was an infringement, a ticket. And I think, I suppose it was with a hired car. A hired car in 2016. Not 2014. So Xumalo read Warrant Officer Steenkamp's statement where it read that the sixth witness called Spiwe could not compile any faces, but he mentioned that he saw an old green-blue sedan near the danger box. 2 unknown African males were sitting in the car, and the 2 were standing outside the car. After a few minutes, the car left, and the 3 unknown African males stayed behind and were busy on their phones. The witness later saw them running in front. Was a person with dreadlocks running with a firearm in his hand. Another suspect jumped over the wall.
Now, that is, if I'm not mistaken, that could be a similar story that Mtogo was telling, right?
Mtogo said he jumped at the small gate.
It changed. It was a wall, then
and he said
changed.
He was being chased by one of the accused. The second intruder chased him. That sounds more like what
yes, it sounds more closer to what we've been saying, that people who were in that house should know better about all these things. We don't believe there was an intruder, unless if a visitor could be an intruder, yes.
So Ginda on that blue-green sedan, he said Xumalo had to look on exhibit HH and JJ and you will see that is not the car. Like he was there.
Now is denouncing the witness.
Yes, the witness.
Using other witnesses who were not there at the scene.
No.
Witnesses that is alleging where they were at Basutung Hostel.
But when he mentions exhibit HH and JJ, he's talking about the confession of accused 1 and 2 that they are saying they did not write. They are saying they did not write those confessions.
And then uthi wahla ngesawuthi asupporte ngokwabini no Gini no Sizwe Zungu.
No Sizwe Zungu, no Absalom. So Ginda said that you will see that the vehicle was used by accused number 5. It was a VW Polo. And this is also supported by Constable Zungu's affidavit where he said that he was driving a white one and some stage they needed to change and make the space for each, and also confirmed that accused number 5 was driving a VW Polo. And Xumalo asked him, is it correct that Gwabini's Fiso Zungu had not testified in this court? Ginda said, yes, I'm aware. And Constable Zungu does not say in his affidavit or in his evidence in chief, even under cross-examination, that he saw the accused in the vehicle that was driven by accused number 5. He does not say that. And Ginda said, but that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying accused 5. He does place accused 5 as a driver of a VW Polo. He referenced to exhibit HH and JJ again. And accused 2.
This man is testifying, his testimony is like filling the missing words. And then someone on the other side has a memo. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So you're feeling the missing words is gonna be a very quick thing because a person who's probably got the memo is gonna come and feel because he's saying think. I don't know, think the way I'm thinking, judge. and it seems as if they are in line, in my opinion.
Support my speculation.
It seems as if they think alike. They support each other now and then. So I think all is well.
Well, he referenced this exhibit HH and JJ and accused two indicates who was driving the getaway car. That correlates with what Zungu was saying. He also says Fiso Gwabini also mentioned the VW Polo that could have been hired. Xumalo went to a statement by Kolile Makganego. Okay? It was commissioned on the 12th of October 2018 at 1500 hours.
Yeah.
Xumalo read it and it said, and I quote, on the 12th of August 2018, Sunday morning around 11, a police officer, Captain Mokhali, I think she meant Mokhani. I don't know. I just felt a strong edge that this is Mokhani.
That is, in my opinion, port number 3 or port number 2. If you get me, you get me. If you don't, you don't.
So he was saying that Captain Mokhani came to my place after we agreed that I will point out a person that saw him running, or that I saw him running away from the direction of the crime scene of the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. As I explained to the captain that I saw the person again the previous Sunday at the complex, and he spoke to me and greeted me and said to me that the last time he saw me was on the night of Senzo Meyiwa, where Senzo Meyiwa was killed. I never responded that he told me that his name is Jan and he's residing at a certain house at Paradise at Vosloorus. The same day, on the 12th of August 2014, at about 14:30, while I was with Captain, I think it was 2018, my apologies, at 2018, at about 14:30, while I was with Captain Mokhali, we met with this person in the streets at Paradise Vosloorus. I then indicated and pointed out to the person, to Captain Mohani, that this is the same person I saw them running away from the direction of the crime scene of the murder of Senzo Meyiwa. I then requested Captain Mohani to interview him in my presence, and I did not want to meet him.
Not to interview him in her presence.
Yes, not to interview him in her presence. He said, I'm aware that I am the one who pointed him out because I was scared of him. Captain Mohani approached the person and spoke to him, and they exchanged the contact details. Jan was not looking sober. I heard him asking Captain Mohani for Dacha several times. When I heard this, my apologies, but I thought of Longwe.
What is the name of this woman?
I thought of Longwe. I forgot. Guys, please write it down on the chat if you can recall the name.
Wasn't it the same woman who pointed the police on the other direction?
That woman is a stranger.
Because it's not mentioned who that woman was. They don't know.
Take his name. They didn't take that woman's name. She just said, the park, and they ran there. The police umthethwa and
so, in my opinion, it's a failed port, that one also. Because they're talking about someone who was drunk. Probably was drunk even on that day when he was running. He just had something and then he ran.
It's just a random stray person.
That's another pot gone wrong.
I don't want to know what's going on down there. I just want to go in the opposite direction. Asase, guys, but this person's testimony was very interesting. You know, when he said sober, and I heard him asking Captain Mokhani for Dacha several times. I'm sorry, but I couldn't help and resist. I'm like, is this talking about Longo? Is he talking about Longo? He wasn't talking about Longo. I couldn't resist the edge. But turns out he wasn't talking about Longo. So Captain Mohani could not understand him at all, this person that was asking him for Dacha Uyan. He said, I later told Captain Mohani that the person was asking for Dacha. I then later learned that his real name was Ngubeko Mtando. Mtando, as he told Captain Mohani.
You'll go heavy.
I said, I would like to confirm that on the night Senzo Meyiwa was killed, the time I saw Ngubeko Mtando running fast away from the direction of the crime scene, he was alone, and I never saw any person behind him. And at that time, all the other people were running towards the crime scene. I only knew Ngubeko by sight. I did not know his name, and he knows me very, very well.
Hayi unenhlanhla uNqubeko. Lucky.
Minale, this feels like a distraction.
No luck.
This testimony feels like it was also designed to throw us off or throw people off. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me yet. I'm trying to put the pieces together, but they're not coming together.
When did he make the statement? When did she make the statement?
2018.
Was it after or before?
It was after the incident.
Was it after Ginda took off or before Ginda took off?
Ginda said he took over in 2018, right? He said he took over in 2018. So I'm not sure about the months when he took over, which month it was, but he did mention that he started leading the investigation in 2018. He was assigned in 2018.
Okay.
So Xumalo then said, the reason for me reading this statement into the record, it appears to me that there was a lot of movement on that street on the day of the incident. Some people were running away from the scene, others were going to the scene. Do you confirm that from the reading of the statement? And Ginda said, yes, from the reading of the statement, that is what the statement seems to be saying. Xumalo said that he will leave that for argument. He just wanted it to go on record. So Xumalo then moved to Brigadier Ginda's affidavit, where Ginda confirmed that this docket was discussed with the DPP Pretoria and they gave him the guidelines in terms of the investigation. He said that at some point it was moved to Pretoria. It was not initially there. And that only when he started engaging with the DPP, that's when it was moved to Pretoria. It was commissioned by Mogola on the 29th.
You know, the line of questioning by Xumalo, it felt like the Joburg refused to prosecute on this case the way it was.
That.
Yeah.
I can believe that.
It seems as if they said, no. It's not wild. And well, there's always kids that raise his hands in the class and say, oh, I know the answer. I can do it.
I
can do it. And then it went to Pretoria.
Xumalo read it. It said copies of the docket was given to 4 members of the investigation. That
Exhibit HH, to clarify, Exhibit HH and JJ, those are so-called confessions.
Statements of accused number 2.
And Muzi. Is it one person? No, it's one person.
2.
Accused 2, actually.
The one with the magistrate and the other one with Rapad.
Yeah. Muzi's just... Muzi's one is...
Muzi's one is all over.
Yeah.
It was the first one.
It talks about 3 people.
It was the first confession.
It was the first trial and error method. That did not work.
The people that were there on that confession are in the jail, and then they're saying, no, he misled us.
I don't know if people observed yesterday the marinating of the meat that was happening in that court as Mshololo was trying to defend Xumalo's position when the judge was
now
literally cross-examining as Xumalo was busy taking instruction. Very destructive.
Yeah.
In a manner that it was done.
Very sneaky.
Correcting the record while Xumalo is standing there. Yes, and then he's shouting at Mshololo. So that's, in a sense, that's what we should expect from Mshololo. Mshololo was being welcomed with those and then to show that the judge is very condescending, in my opinion. He makes a joke. So he makes a joke after that. It's not even a joke. And he say, ask Mshololo. You know, I'm a teacher, ask Mshololo. What was that supposed to mean? We are teaching Mshololo. Is that what this is supposed to mean? That's what
it's implying, that I'm a teacher, I teach Mshololo.
No, he was just gauging.
Condescending.
He was just gauging Mshololo's anger after he shut him down? Did it land as I was shouting at you? Don't say that. Don't say I'm investigating. Did it land? Ask him, Shalala. I want to see if you are going to smile. Msholo didn't smile. The camera looked at Msholo. Msholo was not smiling. So already she is being welcome. And do expect the host and say, ask the right questions and all. Do prepare for the pain.
Should she balance it by also smiling yana here and there? Like when they throw jabs.
It was the first time seeing Xumalo angry. Xumalo was angry at the judge.
He was pissed.
The judge was bullying him, allegedly.
But this time
and then
around,
he was
stood his ground.
He fought back.
Yeah, he was fighting back. And I liked it. I was like, but
it comes with a lot of draining and distraction. Do you remember he even came back and said, Where was I?
Where was I?
That's what this judge can do to you. So, smiling. Yes, you can smile, yeah. But is it not getting into you? Whether you're smiling or not, it does get into you.
I feel like you shouldn't show that it's getting to you.
It does get into you.
I don't know what strategy you can use to let it be like water bouncing off of you. But I don't know what I...
When the judge was saying it does not matter in a sense, no, it does matter to me.
Yes,
that was a very good one.
It does matter to me. It does matter to me.
It is worse for women. I won't lie to you. This man is a nightmare when it comes to Msholo. Men are able now and then to handle what he does. Hey, but I'm Msholo is the only advocate that is there as a woman. I will mention that. And
he's harsher.
He's harsher when it comes to Msholo. Even with English, I do expect the correction of English.
I remember initially also talking about it, that I'm feeling that energy of like he's not really, he is giving me energy of not liking women much. I don't know. That's what I was alluding to. Even Mr. Anonymous would warn me and say, don't go there. It's not a gender thing. But I could feel it. I could sense it, that there's something not right.
Look, it's not you can say that, but how can I put this? I think when they look at these advocates, they feel Msholo is weaker because of the emotions.
And Evele as a woman,
and they have learned that.
You are innate.
They have mastered that. So
as a woman, you are built to be emotional.
They correct even a fly flying in front of Msholo. They are correcting everything. English, at least this is not what the English says. Such words, such. At least this is not how I was taught English.
And then when she quotes the law, they would laugh, and I'm like, what is funny when she's reading a passage from the law?
They
are laughing, and I'm like, what is funny? What's so funny? I don't get it. The last time she was reading the passage of the law, they were busy giggling in the back. I'm like, what is going on? This is the same law that Advocate Baloyi had read. Quoted previously. Now Advocate Msholo is reading it and using it for her argument, and people now are laughing, and I'm like, what's the joke?
So do expect a lot of things in that court. Do expect it. I don't know how, but we will get through it.
No, we must get through it. I would like to see Msholo a bit strong.
I would like to see Msholo prosper also. I would like to see her
a bit sober.
More so. There's a lot of clarity in terms of numbers and all those things.
Yes.
That needs to happen. So I wish her the best for today. And she must not rush.
Yeah, she must take her time.
Take your time, Mama. We are here. Take your time.
He's got sermons of answers.
Take your time.
Just take your
time. And yes, he's gonna try. He definitely is gonna provoke you. That I can bet you, man.
He's gonna be throwing jabs here and there.
Yes. Take your time. Continue.
Well, he noted Colonel Buthelezi, Lieutenant Colonel Ramogano, Warrant Officer Makubo, and later Advocate Silepe from the DPP KZN. After this, he said that the docket was given to the DPP in Johannesburg for further guidance. And Xumalo asked him, when was this docket firstly handed to the DPP in Johannesburg? Ginda said, if you read the statement correctly, it relates to the issues surrounding to Mr. Hlophe. Now he was saying that his affidavit, it must be restricted only to answering questions about the affidavit of Mr. Hlophe, because at that stage, he was not the investigating officer of this case. He was then informed by General Nkomo to go and inform the family about them coming to give a progress report about the National Commissioner General Phahlane. But in between, then they were asked to assist. The first person that they were assigned to work with was this Advocate Silepe. Then subsequently, the docket then went to Johannesburg, and he said that he was giving advice. Then this went to Advocate Chauke, who was the DPP. We remember Advocate Chauke being mentioned in some of the other interviews, and he was the DPP for South Gauteng, which is the jurisdiction for this case, by the way. Then he said there was an Advocate Market. The statement is in relation to Mr. Hlophe's statement, given the background as to how he got involved and then went out, then subsequently got appointed. And he said that when he got appointed, Ms. Silepe came in when the docket was then assigned to him. Ms. Silepe is the DPP in KZN. Apparently, she was giving advice or something like that. He said that the affidavit he did while he was already the lead investigator in 2019, and it came as a result of the DPP. The current prosecutor said that they needed to address the allegation that there's a statement that may have not been filed in the docket, which is misleading because the statement was in the docket. So this is in addressing the allegation that Senzo Meyiwa had put on the media. And he was very bold at the time, before this trial even began. He put it boldly that Brigadier Ginda, there was a statement that he took. So around this time, Mr. Anonymous, do you notice that around this time, when Senzo was speaking about this in the media, this whole statement that Brigadier Ginda was doing, isn't it the same time period?
Yeah, it is.
2020, right? So I'm going to take a wild guess that this statement was to address the allegation that Senzo was saying with Newsroom Africa. I remember that interview.
Yes. You are on point there. Guys, just like the video, 497, 285 likes. Let us push to 350. Why not? Thank you.
And Brigadier Ginda is denying that he took the statement out of the docket. He's saying that the statement was there. But then 375 came as a result of that statement going missing. Did it not? So which one is it? Xumalo said, when was the docket forwarded to the DPP Johannesburg for guidance? Ginda said that the docket was initially in Johannesburg, the jurisdiction where the offense took place in Vosloorus. When initially assigned, the matter was under Johannesburg. Then Advocate Silepe came on board. Then the National Director Public Prosecutions gave a directive that the docket must be moved to the DPP in Johannesburg, from the DPP in Johannesburg to the one in Pretoria, and that is how they found themselves there. But from 2014, even in the matter of Mbata, when it was being dealt with, it was still in Johannesburg, but then later it was moved to Pretoria. My question is, had it not been moved to Pretoria?
Was this Silepe not the reason why we had the so-called guy in KZN who was chased out by the
For those who may not know what we're talking about, is that one of the other allegations that Senzo put forth, that there was a man by the name of April who went to a court in KZN and said that they were the ones responsible for the incident that happened at the Spaza house. They even took ownership that they were the ones who took Senzo's life. And then the judge looked at that person and threw out the case and said, this is nonsense. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
And it's not being brought up in that court. There are a lot of things that are a mystery that are not being brought up that we have heard. What happened? What happened? And what also happened with the Mthokozisi being taken for an ID parade all on his own? Brigadier Ginda. Somebody please cross-examine on that. Please. We need answers. What was he doing ID parading in KZN with Mthokozisi? Well, then Xumalo also asked him again, when was this matter forwarded for the guidance? Ginda said that he does not know. What he knows is when they now had to go to Pretoria, the DPP, and that is when they met for the first time with Brigadier Perumal. He now said that even when he was appointed, it was still falling under the jurisdiction of Johannesburg until it was moved to Pretoria. Xumalo asked him, was there any decision that was taken by the DPP of Johannesburg? Ginda said that there was no decision. There were no suspects to the docket of 636. And the only person that was once arrested and it was withdrawn is Mr. Zamokuhle Mpata. And then after that, it was the people of interest that they were pursuing and not finding anything on them and then leaving them alone. Then only time that they found suspects, which are the ones that are currently sitting in court, then enrolled with evidence. It's the accused before court. So Xumalo asked him when the docket was with the DPP in Johannesburg, was the indictment drafted? Ginda said that his understanding of drafting an indictment is that you draft it after identifying the suspects with collaborating evidence that will convince the NPA that prospects of a successful conviction. He then repeated that after Mpata, there were no other suspects. It's only after it reached Pretoria that they had these 5 suspects that are in court. Xumalo then asked him when the docket was with the DPP in Johannesburg, was the statement of Absalom Zungu in the docket? Ginda said no, which is very interesting. Because Absalom Zungu is said to have come when? In 2019. So he now said that when the statement of Absalom Zungu was taken, it was on the 17th of November 2019. The docket had already moved to Pretoria when they had their first meeting. He said that the first meeting occurred in January of 2019. So Xumalo asked him, was it prosecutorially guided investigation that you must go obtain a statement from Absalom Zungu? Ginda said, how do you get guided when information is given to you? There is a source or an informer who tells you that they have information. You don't need to be guided by the prosecutor. It's part of my mandate. Any information given to me as an investigator, you must follow it. Then when you have information, then you share it, and that's when you will be getting the guidance. So when Advocate Baloyi like the movement, but then the defensiveness of Brigadier Ginda with this regard, it's like it upsets him. Okay, it upsets him that they want to know. Xumalo wants to know if this whole testimony of Absalom Zungu, when it was done, was Advocate Baloyi there, advising or what? And it's kind of a mystery. Well, similarly, the statement of Constable Zungu was not there. You only obtained it last year. And Ginda said, I gave reasons as to what happened. I testified about this. Xumalo asked him, is it correct that you testified you could not find any communication amongst the accused in terms of the Section 205 records for the year 2014? Ginda said that it's a twofold. That initially the 205s they had was starting after the incident, but the ones that they found, Pinky and Hose, said that there might have been a link. So Xumalo asked him, is it correct that you could not find communication between my client and Miss Kelly Xumalo? Ginda said, yes, we did not find that. And Xumalo asked him, is it correct that you did not find any communication between accused number 3 and Miss Kelly Xumalo? Ginda still was holding on to the link and the linkage theory. So, and he doesn't want to let it go. And that linkage is based on the diagram, the teeth diagram of hose. It's all very, very strange. Then Xumalo asked him, what linkage? Do you mean the transparent money bags or the pictures? Ginda said, I think we went through this exercise. I spoke about the exhibit O, the bag. He was referring to the tree diagram on exhibit O of Kennel Stain, the diagram that he had drawn. And Xumalo asked him to show those linkages. He even told him that he was surprised that he could analyze linkages because he said he did not know what was there before. When they were asking him about the Kennel Stain's evidence, he would say he's not an expert. It would be best for Kennel Stain to come and answer for himself. And now he wanted to demonstrate that linkage. How interesting. And he said that there is no communication between the accused number 3 and Kelly Xumalo, and he was briefed that there were linkages, but he's not an expert to interpret those linkages. So Xumalo put it to Ginda that there is no communication between Miss Kelly Xumalo and accused number 3 at any given point on the 26th of October 2014, and Ginda said that he never said that there was communication. The only communication was with accused number 5. And he's not talking about communication, but he's talking about links. Xumalo then showed him the Section 205 records of accused number 3, and on the 26th of October, and he stated it to him and put it to him that there was no communication between accused number 3 and Kelly Xumalo. So Xumalo then went to the analysis by Kennel House. Xumalo said his client does not deny the communication depicted where accused number 1 called 14 times, or there was communication 14 times between the date of the 22nd of July 2019 to the 19th of February 2020, and he denied that when he communicated with accused number 5, he never communicated with him using the number ending 1239 127 from 29th of September 2018 to the 29th of October 2020 with that number belonging to Lungisani Nduhandwe. Ginda said that he was not an expert. He thinks Kennel House would be the one to come and testify on this. The judge asked Xumalo to put it to House. If he put it to House, that one of the numbers ending with 9759 does not belong to accused number 5, and accused number 4 does not know who it belongs to. The judge said that it does not matter because House, who compiled that document, Xumalo said that there was no dispute about it. He said that he will accept any response from the brigadier. So he agreed to contacting accused number 3 48 times from the 16th of July 2018 to the 2nd of March 2021, and Xumalo asked if he found communication between his client and accused number 2, and Ginda said that the people who analyzed are Kennel House and Kennel Stain, and he said that they separated accused 2. He was arrested in 2020 and the accused 4 was already serving a sentence in 2020. So Xumalo asked him there was no communication, or told him and put it to him that there was no communication between accused number 2 and accused number 4 from 2014 until Kennel Stain and Kennel House came on board to analyze whatever. So Advocate Baloyi said that there was communication between accused number 3 and 5 after Xumalo said that there was no communication amongst the accused in 2014. Then Xumalo rephrased his question. The judge asked him to convey what he meant when he said that there was no communication between his client other than accused on the 26th of October 2014. Well, Xumalo said that he meant cell phone. He does not deny that they were together on that day. They may have met but did not communicate by cell phone. And the judge took that they met in a kumbi. So after the long adjournment, Baloyi came with the correction of the record, saying that the number ending with 801 belonged to accused number 4, but he was not in contact with accused number 1 once in February of 2020. He said that it was not supported. It was with the number of accused number 4, and the number of accused number 4, he did not deny it. He said it's him. So Xumalo said that they admitted that it was in contact. They never disputed it. So Xumalo now was on the version of accused number 4, and he said that he was instructed by accused number 4 that he did not know Constable Sizwe Kumbuzo Zungu on the 26th of October 2014. He first knew him when he testified before this court on the 7th of September 2023. And Ginda said that's not in line with the statements that are obtained to not only from Constable Zungu, but also from Makosonke and Gwabini's Fiso Zungu. And Xumalo said this version about him not knowing Sizwe Kumbuzo Zungu, the police, finds corroboration or correlation. And he said, I'll use your terms. Corroboration and correlation on photo 47 of Exhibit S. And the judge wanted to know in what way. So Xumalo asked for the photo to be beamed, and he said that in the sense that when Constable Zungu was asked to identify the persons that were depicted in photo 47, he said that the person standing behind the car was accused number 2, Mr. Ntanzi. The judge now wanted Xumalo to refer them to the record where Zungu actually said that. Guys, are judges supposed to do this? Mina ngicela ukubuza, like, is the judge supposed to be the one probing like he's a prosecutor? What is going on? A judge is supposed to do this. Like, every time I'm flabbergasted.
There's a thin line between becoming a prosecutor and seeking clarity.
Hi, we have long crossed the line of seeking clarity here. You know, when he baffles me when he says he now wants to know from the record where Zungu actually said that the man behind the car.
And then he celebrates that there was a correction, and the correction done by Xumalo, by the way. Xumalo corrected Zungu. And Baloyi stand up, he self-corrected. He did not correct himself. He was corrected by Xumalo.
In his cross-examination of Zungu. Sure, guys. And wanted to know the version of the state. So the judge also wanted to know the version of the state and what they believed. Baloyi said that their recollection is that Constable Zungu did correct himself, and they just want to verify that.
And he read the record where Xumalo is correcting him, not himself. Sizwe, thank you very much. We will buy that drink. We will definitely buy that Coke. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So Xumalo said that he knew accused number 1, Mr. Sibia, before the 26th of October. Ginda said the investigation confirmed that. Xumalo then said he did know accused number 2 before on or about the 26th of October 2014, and he first met accused number 2 in the first court appearance at Boksburg Magistrate Court on the 27th of October 2020 when they met for their first appearance, when they made their first appearance. Ginda said that it's not correct. He said accused number 2 mentioned accused number 4 in exhibit HH and JJ, and he mentioned him by name. So the judge wanted to know what he said about him. Ginda said that he placed him at Basutung Hostel before he went to kill the deceased, and after, when they went to the hostel, the statement of Fiso Zungu places accused number 4 with accused number 2 at the hostel, and furthermore corroborated by Constable Zungu, who makes the same utterances. So Xumalo continued by putting the version of accused number 4, and he said that he knew Mr. Mncube. Mr. Mncube was his best friend before the 26th of October 2014. Ginda said that he will not dispute that, and Xumalo said they knew each other very well after the judge was asking if they knew each other. Yes, they knew each other very well. So accused number 5 was his acquaintance. Ginda said he's not disputing that. And on the morning of the 26th of October 2014, accused number 3 met with accused accused number 4 met with accused number 3 in Johannesburg CBD. They then traveled in a white minibus Kumbi that belonged to Mr. Zenzele Mchunu. He was the driver of his vehicle, but before they went to Ultra City Liquors in Malvern, where they bought liquor for 158 rands and 40 cents, and that is contained in his bank statements that was handed in. Ginda confirmed to have seen it. And then Xumalo said he also bought airtime for 40 rands and received an SMS notification that's also depicted in the bank records. The occupants of this minibus Kumbi were the following: Mr. Maphisa, who's accused number 4, Mncube, accused number 3, Mapungu, Tuli, Celimpilo Ndawonde, Shivan Tuli, and Linda Dlamini and Sikao Gianni. This minibus Kumbi traveled to Katlehong on Faith Mazibuko Hostel. So they went to Faith Mazibuko Hostel, which is in Katlehong. So he said that finds correlation with the photo that was taken of accused number 4 with accused number 3, and it was on the 26th of October at 11:52. Ginda maintains evidence was gathered at Basutung Hostel, and that is where they conspired after they went to the crime scene. They then came back, and part of the money was shared amongst the accused. You know, he's speaking like he saw them. He was there. I don't understand.
Yeah. That's Ginda for you.
So the judge asked if Mazibuko Hostel was not Basutung Hostel. Ginda said it was not, and that they are far apart, apparently a distance of 8 kilometers. So Mazibuko Hostel is in Katlehong and Basutung Hostel is in Vosloorus. It's two different sections of the East Rand. So Xumalo then said they traveled to meet Ngamuza Kumete. Now he was correcting it. He previously mentioned a different name, but now he said no, they were actually, because accused number 4 raised his hand. I'm sure that's what he was doing, was correcting that it was Ngamuza Gumete, the owner of the red polo at 1530-31, depicted on photo number 47. So Xumalo said the person who was taking these photos was Mabungu Ntuli. Ngamuza Gumete was residing in Lesedi in Vosloorus, and they spent much of the day there. Ginda wanted to know if Mabungu Ntuli was taking the photo with his cell phone. Xumalo said no, he was using the device of accused number 3. I think they even gave the model of the Samsung that it was. So Baloyi said that he found the correction Zungu made, and he read it, and yes, it was made by Xumalo. He was the one leading Zungu in the cross-examination and correcting it. But yeah. Now the judge, he started again asking if Ginda, if he was standing next to the car or away from the car. He was asking for with relation to the picture of the person that they are saying was standing. The one Zungu said it was accused number 2. Are they standing next to the car or behind the car, while Advocate Xumalo was consulting with his client, accused number 4? He was sneaking in these very sneaky questions, and he asked if Ginda could see his hands, the hands of the person in the photo. Advocate Mshololo stood at this point and said, you know what, this further cross-examination should wait until, and the judge said it's not cross-examination. I'm seeking clarity. The judge now directed Xumalo to the gentleman in navy blue cap on that picture and asked if he could see his face or hands, and Xumalo said he could not see them. He's standing next to a car, and Xumalo went on to photo number 9, and his instructions is that he was wearing a DH jacket, a Lacoste boot. He said that he recalls that it is him on the photo number 47 because of the clothing on photo number 9. So now accused number 4 could recall that that person is him, and the photos were taken on the same day, the 26th of October 2014, when they were on the Kumbi to travel to Katlehong, when they were on their way to visit Makeke Ndlela. So here it is also further confirmation that Zungu didn't know these people looking at the pictures.
And the judge is trying to say that the picture, the accused number 3 was not clear because he was wearing a cap. That's where the gist of this. The judge is trying to say that's why he could not recognize it, because we cannot see him. That's why I was worried about him saying, I cannot see. He was supposed to say, I can see.
You're supposed to, I can see, that's my client, that's accused number 4.
Yes.
That's your modilo. Oh, maybe he was tired. Shema, they were working him. They were sending him from pillar to post. The judge was busy, Shem, working on his nerves. They were not traveling in that red VW Polo, but the owner was Ngamuza Gumete. What he cannot remember is who arrived first between Ngamuza and then in the Kumbi. Photo number 48 was taken on the 26th of October 2014 at 15:31 in the afternoon in the same vicinity, Lisedi Fosloras. Gininda asked to see the top of the picture and wanted to know where the accuracy of the time came from. The audacity. It's like, I want to know where the time came from because in the picture, he could only see the date. So Xumalo said that it came from the downloads. I was supposed to ask
him what was presented to you.
He was supposed to ask him that.
What was presented to you? What did you see? What do you know about the picture?
What do you know about the picture? That is true. We should have asked him because I'm like, when are your obsession with it? Don't you have the same downloads that they have? You should be saying, maybe that's not the time that I have, or that's not the time that I found from the downloads if you wanted to dispute. But to want to ask and probe, where did it come from? I found it very awkward. It was cringy. You should know that. You should know it. Why come you don't know it? So Xumalo then said this minibus Kumbi traveled to George Core Hostel where a photo was taken of accused number 3 and accused number 5. It was taken on the 26th of October 2014 at 17:28:39. The tower was 2G Benrose. He further states that he had not met accused number 5. He only met him on that day on the 26th of October 2014.
He had not met him that day.
On that day, yes. At 17:28:38, and now Gininda said that he was told that they were acquaintances with accused number 5. They met on that day. Xumalo said that on that day he only met accused number 5 for the first time on that day. So Gininda argued that Xumalo did not put it that way and he wanted to make it a thing, but Xumalo was not in the party of arguing with Brigadier Ginda. Accused number 5 joined them. He continued to tell the version of accused number 4. He said accused number 5 joined them. They then traveled and dropped accused number 4, Maphisa. The Kumbi traveled to where Mr. Maphisa was renting at Johannesburg corner of Sinclair and Julie Street in Malvern. He was dropped there after 1800 hours, and after he was dropped in his place of residence, he never met accused number 3 and 5. Gininda still maintained that they were in Basutung Hostel, and then they went back to Basutung Hostel after the shooting incident. And then Xumalo continued to say that on the 26th of October 2014, he did not meet accused number 1 and 2 at all. Accused number 4 said he was never at Basutung Hostel at the crime scene, and Gininda only has exhibit HH and JJ as evidence that placed accused number 4 at the crime scene. He said that they have the markers of 4 regions of his DNA at the crime scene. Savelelwa ngale inconclusive yaga judge. Gininda is now bringing it up. Gininda is making it a thing. He's making it a match, even though it's not. Brigadier Ginda, this is not a match. Let it go. The more you keep pulling onto it, the more embarrassing. I am embarrassed on your behalf. Please let it go. You're not going to win this one. DNA doesn't lie. DNA has to be a match or not. This thing that you're trying to do. So Xumalo then said he will leave the issue of regions for argument as well as exhibit HH and JJ, and he said that he's never in his life been in contact with Miss Kelly Xumalo. He knows Kelly Xumalo is a musician, but he never made direct contact with her. Gininda said they don't have to link him, or they didn't have a link with him and Miss Xumalo, or that they spoke, and he did not receive any payments, and his bank statements confirmed the same. So Xumalo asked him, so you are using logic, not evidence supported by facts. It's your inferential reasoning. Here we are going to learn English with this case. Inferential reasoning. So Gininda said that he is using facts insofar as the confessions of accused 1 and 2, and logic insofar as they are acting together. He said that it would not make logic that only 2 are paid and the others are not paid and they did it for free. So Xumalo then said he did plan with the co-accused the commission of this offense. Ginda said that the evidence said otherwise. He didn't plan. Sorry, my apologies. He didn't plan with the co-accused the commission of this offense. Well, Xumalo did conclude his cross-examination, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And those were the highlights of today, guys.
Those were the highlights of today. Right. What do you think? Are you feeling tired?
No, I'm feeling fine.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
I'm seeing you are tired.
How are you feeling? No, I'm feeling. I was just pushing so that I can finish. But I'm done now, guys. This evidence is a lot. It's a lot to go through. But we
right. Let's say we give you a minute.
Oh, you mean for the phone calls?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we can call in.
Yes. While I do that, I'll be calling people's name. Vivian.
All right.
Our member, Vivian Moremi. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian.
Sibusiso Ndlovu, Chuku Ana, Dorcas, Maina, Meyana. Yeah. I think I might be getting it wrong. All right, please correct me. Sizwe 18. Thank you again for your generous gift. We will buy Coke. Coke is the order of the day. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, my darlings.
Hello.
How are you guys doing?
We good, and you?
Today I'm well. I was really, really, really itching to call in today because hey, you guys. Hi. You know when Xumalo yesterday say hi, this person, I could tell that this man was set up like me. He couldn't keep it in.
Yeah.
You know, when we were growing up, I don't know if I'd be revealing too much without saying so much. But remember when we were growing up,
Yes.
there was this radio. Radio. They used to call it. I used to hear the old people calling it Grammy. It was like a big radio, and it had a sideboard on the side where you could store your glasses and your plates and everything. But on the other side, it was a radio, and it had an LP thing where you could put your LPs and stuff like that.
Yes.
If you can remember that radio, it looked like just a piece of center. Gram. When I Ginda, he has swallowed that radio. When he starts talking, he has swallowed that gram. Doesn't stop talking. It's just like that LP it's playing. LPs. You know what I mean? This man is so irritating. He's so irritating to everything. Now, why thinking? When you are given information, you follow it up. Yet it took him months to get Absalom to make a statement. Why did he not follow that lead that he got from Zungu at the time? It took him months. And then he thinks, if he's not thinking, I think it is probability or possibility, and then there's logic. Logic imagine, logic is very subjective depending on what you believe, right? Because he's saying because all 5 of them were involved in the committing of the crime, if 2 got paid, then everybody got paid. So it's an assumption. So that's what he thinks. That's what he thinks should happen. But that's not necessarily the case, right? So everyone who drives a car, logic dictates that their car is roadworthy. Imagine if cars are involved in an accident, okay?
Yeah.
And then someone loses their life, and the other driver is arrested and goes before the court for involuntary manslaughter, right? Then a cop who is an accident scene reconstruction expert goes to court to give evidence, and then they get asked how they investigated, right? For example, did they inspect the vehicle to ensure that it was roadworthy? For example, was the tire tread assessed, and what was the gauge? And then they respond by saying, no, logic dictates that if you drive a car, then it's roadworthy, my lord. So there was no need for me to go and inspect the vehicles. But you call yourself a crime, like an accident reconstruction expert. Would that make sense?
No.
Yeah, no.
So there was no investigation done here. In my opinion, there was no investigation done. This guy was just reading people's statements. It's like putting pieces of the puzzle together that don't even fit.
Yes.
You understand? You are given a board and they say, okay, there's 1,500 pieces of a puzzle. Put them together. Instead of using the pieces of the particular puzzle, you go around, you are picking rocks and shells and whatever that look like the pieces of the puzzle, and then you putting them on this board to try and create a puzzle. And then you want to come and convince us, no, this stone, this stone and the shell that you've actually placed there, it looks exactly like the piece of the puzzle. And we must believe you. There was no investigation done here. None whatsoever. There's nothing. This guy was just running around, taking whatever he wants to take and just putting it together. This guy did not get on this case investigated. You know what I mean? And he's unashamedly saying, no, H and JJ, they are the nuggets. Those are the things that must get these people convicted. Do you know what I mean? Guys, let's pray for Mshololo today. That this lady must come in with a sober mind. She must be calm. I hope she's been observing how these other guys have been dealing with this old man, Rata. And by that come in and she'll be level-headed. She will not be distracted. She will stand her ground. She's got skills, she's got the talent, and she must use them. And it's so sad that, Rata is treating this woman like this. And the so-called feminist organizations, they're quiet. They were busy running around calling men trash, this men are trashy. But when Rata is being a trash in court towards another woman, they're quiet. And how can we expect a judge who is holding onto apartheid cases to have any modicum of respect for a woman if he's still holding on to apartheid when women had no rights whatsoever? If his mindset is still stuck in apartheid, do we think when he sees a woman in court as an equal?
No. As
an intelligent woman who is there and who belongs there, who earned that spot where she's sitting. I don't think Mshololo earned that spot. He is, to me, in my opinion, he's a misogynistic pig. And I'm going to end it there. I love you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Right, guys, we know everything is alleged and views are that of the caller. Guys, yes, the network is doing what network does. As long as you can hear us, let's continue. That's all we care about now, because this network is going to be networking. Thank you very much, and we are indeed going to buy grandpa for us, though. Thank you. We appreciate you. So I was with here. Dokas, Miss Mbali, we see you. Tobeka D, we see you. May 2, Mhlanga, thank you. We see you. And Sbusiso Ndlovu, I think I mentioned you. Siyabonga Xumalo. Siyakubona Xumalo. Sibonga sakwa Xumalo. Sibalekile kulezi insuku. Nomzamo Hlangu, thank you, our member. We appreciate you. Chuku Ana, we see you. And Dipua, we see you. Let me see. JJ, we see you. Nat, we see you. You just called. It's funny. Yes. Pedro Nkosi, we see you. Ultra Star, we appreciate you. We appreciate your contribution, Ultra Star. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Shanji Westbanda, we see you. Lindeni Hatebe, we see you. Let's see. Okay, Lindeni is coming once, twice. Sibabalwe, we see you. Well, the reputation now. Yeah, that's Patience Sibanda. We see you. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, how are you guys?
We are doing great. How are you?
Good. Long time. I haven't called you guys in a while, but yes. I always watch the shows.
Thank you.
Always. Okay, I'm going to get straight into it.
Yes.
So, Ginda, the whole expert thing. He chooses when and when not the experts are right. He could say, oh no, but it was proven here, blah, 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 blah. But then when he's always contradicting himself.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of like the guns and this and that and that. I'm gonna like literally give a flow of everything because it's all in one for me. But in terms of the gun, the DNA, this, oh yes, like this is what the DNA is, this is what the evidence is. But then he chooses what suits his evidence. He contradicts himself, and the whole over-explaining is putting him in a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Okay. Another point I want to make already, the irritation. He's always getting annoyed when the lawyers are asking him questions, you know, and he's saying, oh, I already went over this. Right? Yes. He wants to be heard. But when they ask him questions that does not suit him, he wants to be over-explaining. And when they say, no, Ginda, you have to answer yes or no. He goes, no, don't say that to me. Don't tell me this. How should I answer the questions? I want to over-explain. So in a way, Ginda is running the show in that courtroom.
Yeah.
And that is a fact.
Yeah.
He's running the show. When Shololi used to tell the other witnesses, or even like the other lawyers, when they used to tell other witnesses, no, I'll say yes or no. I'm the one that's leading the questions. Gininda doesn't understand that the lawyers lead the questions. He wants to lead. He wants to over-explain. And Rata will be there, just looking away. Rata does this face where he looks away. He goes, you know, just to show what I'm not getting involved in this. How can a judge not intervene? You know?
Yes.
And then Zungu is a different story, guys. I cannot believe this case has not been dropped because the whole Zungu thing is just crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and when we are sitting in court, your last caller mentioned it as well. Like this is actually a joke at this point, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Oh, it's bad. It is very bad because he's running the show and nobody can tell him how to conduct himself in the courtroom.
Yes.
We have to accept him for who he is. We have to accept him. We say, oh yeah, like this, you know, he's here to prove his case or whatever, but he over-explains. And when he over-explains, everybody gets tired. Everybody's just like, oh God. So yeah, and another point I want to make to you guys, my last time I called you guys was back in January. And I mentioned about Kelly. Kelly's not being protected, guys. You guys, and I'm saying this, you guys were like, no, Kelly is being protected. Kelly's not being protected. Kelly's being thrown under the bus. She has been thrown under the bus for so long.
Why do you say
that?
But
people are not seeing it. Why do I say that? One, Kelly's not being protected. That is a fact. Who's protecting Kelly? Is it Ginda?
Okay, let me ask you.
Is it Galoy?
Is this case, if we read this case by the facts, is it arresting Kelly?
You see, that's the dodgy part of it. That's what's dodgy. Why is Kelly not a witness? Why is Kelly, you know, it's very dodgy. Even when Ujaj Rata said yesterday or 2 days ago to Xumalo, oh yeah, we can subpoena her. But he only says that just to say it on record. When they say, oh yeah, but you could have brought Kelly, he would say, oh yeah, but I said that you guys can subpoena her, you know?
Yes.
But she's not being protected. She's not. All the evidence. Okay, let's look at the facts. First fact: the calls. They were manipulated. Why would they? Okay, the call between Kelly and Uata. It was manipulated to make it seem like it was accused number 5. How are you protecting Kelly? Is that a protection?
But it's not arresting Kelly.
It's not arresting Kelly, but okay, I get that part. Soon, okay, let's say if this case gets appealed. Everything is on record. Whatever Ginda said is on record. So Kelly will have to be arrested if
For
this
what?
case gets appealed.
For what?
For what? Oh. But okay, my point is she's not being protected. That's the whole point. She's not being protected.
If the case is appealed, Kelly will never be arrested. You can never be arrested on the basis
But how is she
what?
being protected? How is she being protected? How is she being protected? When her whole reputation is on the line, when they keep saying accused number one, they never said accused number one. Accused number 5 was in contact with Kelly. This happened. Ginda is trying to protect himself. That's why he's throwing everybody under the bus. He's trying to prove, I'm a good police officer.
Okay, if you say Kelly is not protected, why didn't he call the police?
Why did who not call the police?
Kelly, yes.
It's dodgy, but guys, Kelly's not being protected. That's my point.
I get you.
We don't know the answers. That's why Judge Rata said this thing can take 40 years, to be honest. Nobody knows the answers. But Kelly is not being protected. And if they do subpoena Kelly,
you're not answering. Why would you call my father?
I can't answer because
why would you
Ginda cannot answer. Even Ginda cannot answer.
If Ginda cannot answer, Kelly cannot answer. Isn't that similarities?
No, Kelly will answer for herself. She will answer for herself. Let's not forget, and I'm not protecting Kelly. I want
answering as a complainant.
I want justice for the Meyiwa family. But I'm just speaking facts.
She will be answering as a complainant. She will be answering as a victim in that court.
But she's always been a victim. She makes herself a victim. And that's why they changed all the statements. So let's look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And allegedly, the bigger picture is to protect Longwe. But allegedly, Longwe and who? The dad.
And
that's what the bigger picture is.
So
they will throw Kelly under the bus.
Let's say your argument is correct. Who started it then?
Who started what? The allegations?
The protection process.
The protection. Longwe is allegedly. Longwe is the problem. The father is protecting his son. We don't know what the father has against the prosecutors or
you know what
the investigating officer.
From your theory,
something is fishy there.
From your theory, what I find funny is that there's only one. Longwe never called his father, right, on that incident. Kelly called the father.
No, Longwe ran away.
Yes.
Longwe left everybody to clean up the mess.
Kelly.
Who called the father?
Kelly.
He ran.
Okay. Now we are finding each other there. But not that I believe your theory.
Hello?
Not that I'm saying I believe your theory. But yeah, I'm just saying that
Hello?
We can still hear you.
We can hear you.
Right. Yeah, it's a long story. I'm not a fan of any one of these people. I just argue because the argument is there and all is alleged. And all are the views of the caller and not of this channel. Yes.
Yeah, but it would be oblivious to only say that she's not being protected. The protection, I would rather choose to believe that the protection was there and somehow, somewhere.
Yes. If you say that, I can believe that.
Not
if
to
you
say
it was
no
there,
protection at all,
and then
it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years of her not really answering questions pertaining to what happened. Not really
being a victim in most of the cases.
She was a victim.
Let's please press the like button.
She even threw Senzo under the bus. She said that he was she started going on a whole media campaign talking badly about him and stuff instead of actually telling what happened. So
let me take this call. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Mr. Anonymous.
Hi, how are you? I'm happy.
Hello. I'm good. I tried calling yesterday, because I was so late to join the show. But anyway, it's fine. Hi, Sister Emily.
Hi.
Anyway, I just have a very, very short point to make. I have never heard Ginda saying in court, you went to the crime scene, you went to reconstruct the crime scene. He went to stand where the alleged intruders were just to get clarity on things. I've never heard him say that. All he's doing is relying on statements. He is treating this case according to my own opinion. He is treating this case like an essay, and I wanted to say a research because if it was a research, it was going to fail dismally. He's just treating it like an essay. And these juniors that he works with, he is that kind of person, like he just gives them instructions to go and investigate. And when they come back to him with what they have discovered from the investigations, if it doesn't suit what he wants, and then he bullies them to do things the other way, allegedly. No wonder why all those people were saying, oh, you need to ask Brigadier Ginda. You need to ask Brigadier Ginda. Why? Because it is something that you have investigated yourself. You should be able to answer. You don't have to refer. They were referring because he was having the final say, allegedly. And when it comes to all these things of the statements, oh, Zungu this, Zungu that, there's nothing more. Good night.
We have Dad here, Jackie. Please check that one out. Yes. Bafethu. I know that I see that there are other callers, but because they are regulars, it's fine. We can always take them tomorrow. And it's Friday tomorrow. Let us be rested and be able to capture as much as we can. Senzo, me and you are sharing the same sentiment in terms of what should happen. But yeah, guys, let's press the like button, and then tomorrow, then we meet. Today, we meet, and let us hope that it's going to be a fruitful day, and pray that Mshalo is on her A game.
Yes.
Regardless of the circumstances that she might be facing. It's going to be draining. Today is going to be draining. I can tell you that. It's going to be emotionally draining. So you just prepare yourself. Drink water, chill. And pray.
And don't be quick to react. Think about it. Give it